Good morning, cadets. I welcome you back for the computer science session for class 11th. And in my previous class, I have discussed about the computer system overview, like your input devices, output devices, definition of a computer, basic components of a computer, block diagram of a computer, isn't it? And we have stopped near this mobile system organization. Let us see that it is also like a computer system only, but having some different kind of features. The modern mobile phone is like a small computer in hand. They have less processing power as compared to the computer system. And what all the things we can do, we can call, telephonic call, then your photo taking camera with camera, the various apps you can work on, the touch screen facility, you can view videos, that what your class videos you are viewing, then of course you are listening audio, the playing games, etc. Of course your normal computer works with a power system, that is power is just to be system is to be connected to a power, but here there will be a small battery in case of mobile, right? This block diagram, what exactly you are seeing, it is given in the book Mobile System Organization. Like how we have a central processing unit computer, same kind of central processing unit. In case of our normal computer, the central processing unit consists of what? ALU, CU, registers and a memory, right? Similarly, this CPU is also having a communication processor, okay, that is CPU, that is communication processor unit, and application processing unit. Of course, it is also having graphic processing unit. All together, communication processing unit, application processing unit and graphics processing unit, all together it is called as the your central processing unit of the mobile system. Of course, it requires a display subsystem with a display screen as well as with the keyboard. Then it having a memory, similarly like RAM and ROM, having input output devices, okay, that is audio as well as your mic as an input device, speaker as an output device. Then it's have a secondary storage like your memory cards you can use. Then of course power battery management system, okay, and this is the main that RF receiver, that transceiver with the help of a SIM. This will make possible to make you to connect to the communication system providers, maybe a Geo, maybe a Airtel, maybe a BSNL, whatever it is, right? So if you make a list, what you can say now, one is the central processing unit, number one, display system, then you have your memory system, okay, then your secondary storage, then your input output, then of course the camera, this, right, one camera unit, okay, that is called as image signal processor, right, which will make you to take the images or the photos. Then power management, and this your radio signal management. Once again I will repeat: radio signal management, power management, storage management, then your camera management, that is image signal processor management, then the display system, then your input output and your internal memory in the form of RAM and ROM. This is what we have discussed now here. The mobile processor is the brain of a smartphone. It responds on receiving a command. The two main subprocessors I discussed you, communication processing unit and application processing unit. It helps in making and receiving call on a mobile phone. It has a digital signal processor which works with RF transceiver, radio frequency and audio subsystem. The application processing unit, it helps in controlling all the operations of mobile phone, which is used to process various applications. And another supporting unit is GPU, that is graphic processor unit, which handles all graphical applications and visuals of mobile phone. Nowadays all parts of a mobile are placed on a single chip, okay. Earlier it was all these separately they were assembled, but nowadays all parts of a mobile are placed on a single chip, which is known as a system on a chip. The entire system you can find on a single chip, okay, which is an less energy consumption, and SOC, remember, system on chip. Further, the display system, it is responsible for all tasks related to display and touch to screen. It supports the following tasks: displaying, touching sensitive interface and touch sensitive keyboard, that you people are already very much familiar with this. Then the camera subsystem, based on image signal processing, you can see how the camera is fixed in the mobile. It performs the following tasks like instant image capturing, high resolution support, image stabilization and other image enhancements. Then the mobile system memory, you can see here your memory card. It is of two types here. RAM, it is available in GBs, 2 GB, 4 GB and so on. ROM, read only memory, it is available in 16 GB, 32 GB and so on. Here it is shown how exactly your mobile memory will be there. Then the secondary storage, it is external storage and also known as expandable memory. It is available in the form of SD cards and micro SD cards. These all are memory cards. You are very much familiar with these. Then the mobile power management system. This system provides power to the mobile phone. Every mobile phone receives power from a connected battery. Its power is limited, of course, for a certain duration it can give, and it is required to charge battery after a certain period of time. It is not like your normal computer system. As there also we can use a power backup in the form of UPS, that is uninterrupted power supply, right? Now here this battery is charged, and you can also see the various kinds of the images of the different types of power battery systems, right? This is all about the mobile processing, that what the chapter mobile system organization. Now let us move for the further concept in the chapter system, computer system overview, that is the types of software. Exactly to introduce what is exactly this software is, you can see here on the screen of this image here 011001 something it is looked here. Getting the idea? Connected a keyboard with a mouse. Computer, being an electronic device, understand only electric pulses, that is whether the electricity is flowing through a circuit or not. We denote these two states of pulses, electricity flowing and not flowing, by 1 and 0. And thus the computer understands a language that consists of only two characters, either 1 or 0. This special language is popularly known as binary language or machine language, which is directly understood by the computer. 0 and 1, the digits of binary languages or binary digits, are also known as bits. B from binary and D and T from digits. That's how it is, bits it is called. Okay, binary language consists of ones and zeros, typically in groups of 8, called as a byte, or 16 bits, 32 bits, 64 bits, etc. 2 to the power 1, what you can say 2 to the power 2, 3, 4, like that, used for storing characters and numbers. Now what is exactly the software? A set of programs which is designed for a special purpose. Hardware cannot work without the software, and software gives directions to control various operations. Basically there are three categories of software: system software, application software and utility software. And the image you can see the various kinds of software, the Word and the PowerPoint, right? The disks is shown, so you can also store your softwares in these storage devices. In order to an ordered set of instructions given to the computer is known as a program, and set of such programs that governs the operation of a computer system related to device is known as software. So in the figure here you can see, in simple word you can say, hardware software is required to interact with the hardware. Without the software we cannot interact with the hardware. Just for example, this is your hardware, you are here now, hardware is here and user is here. To establish an interaction between the user and the hardware, certain softwares are required. That is what we call as the system software, which is nearer to the hardware, and application software, which is nearer to the user. They acts like a intermediate agents between the user and the hardware. Getting the idea? It is also given in your book. You can see the same thing. The moment if I say hardware, that is your CPU, disk, mouse, printer, etc. And in the periphery of the system software you can see here the operating systems are there, language processors are, device drivers are there, okay, some kind of system utilities are there. Then comes the application software at the end, like your word processor, like your MS Excel, then graphic design softwares like your Paint and Adobe Photoshop, databases, presentation like PPT. So this is what the hierarchy in a computer. Okay, hardware is innermost, then there will be a system software, then there will be an application software. Now if I depict in a flow chart exactly what you can say here, a system software, programming languages, all types of system software there, then operating systems, then language translators, then basic input output system BIOS it is called, then device drivers. What are the application softwares? They like your example app Word, then your browsers which you are using for accessing internet surfing, then the graphics software, database management system. These are application of example of utility is not a separate category, but also it is a type of an application. You can, some utility softwares are comes under application also, some utility softwares are comes under your system software also, but these like a text editor, the antivirus, the file managers, etc., we categorize them in the separate category called as utility software. Now what is exactly a system software? The functions of all the physical components of computer system are guided by some program collectively known as system software. It controls all the internal activities inside a computer and between all the attached components of a computer system. What are the major activities performed by the system software? Reads data and instructions through the input devices, translate all the data and instructions into computer understandable form and in a reverse way, and controls all the devices attached to the computer system. Processes and generates the result on the it. Exactly, system softwares are acting like an agent between user and a hardware. Whatever you give through input device, it correct it, translate it, and convert into a language which machine can understand. Whatever the output it is produced, that back it will be converted to the human understandable form, and it provides the result on the output devices. Same thing is once again told here. Controls all inner operations of a computer system, follows the instructions related to the system, and facilitate the smooth working. It is not possible to work without the system software. It works as an agent or an interface between hardware and your application software. It is further divided into operating system, language processor, and I have told you the category: operating system, language processor, BIOS, etc. Now the first category of first category of system software, what we say here, you just see it is an interface between hardware and the user, like a manager of whole computer system. It controls all the resources of the hardware. It manages various application softwares with the hardware, and it develops an environment for the user where user can give commands and can receive the outputs. So some of the this stands for a your what the operating system example is Microsoft Windows, and these are the other your Android software which also act like a operating system to your mobiles, right? So thus these symbols are showing various types of operating systems. And then your types are there in operating system, like single user, multi-user, time sharing, real time, multi-processing, and distributed operating system. These we need not discuss in detail, but at least you have an idea which are the types of the operating systems. As you know that a standalone machine, if you work, we use a single operator system, that single user. If you are using a types of networks like a LAN, local area network, like a MAN, metropolitan area network, like a WAN, wide area network, depending on the types of the application for which where we are using our computer. Based on that, either we use multi-user system or a single user system or a time sharing or a real time or multi-processing or a distributed operating system. Once again, you can see here how the operating system is having a control on the monitor, control on the application, on the disk drive, on the mouse, as well as on the printer and the keyboard. This is exactly how it is showing. It works like a manager to all the resources that are connected to the computer. It is system program that controls the coordinates the operations of computer. It provides an interaction between user and computer. It is stored on the hard disk or any other external storage device. It is the first program to be executed on a computer after the BIOS. BIOS is basic input output system. What is this BIOS? That also we will see. Need of operating system. Why we should read? It provides a software platform on top of which other programs called application programs are executed. In the figure you can see here, this is your hardware. This will provide a platform on which your application softwares can be executed. If system software is not there, these application softwares cannot be executed on the hardware. So it is like a 3 layers here. Innermost layer is hardware, just outer is system, and outermost is application software, right? The major functions are the device manager, communicate with the hardware and all attached devices, memory management, manage different types of memories. Okay, interface manager provides a user interaction or interfacing. What is the meaning of interface? So it is basically connecting the two entities like a user and a computer. A manager, structure for accessing an application. Task manager, enable users to manipulate programs and data. File manager, manage the files, folders and directory systems. Network manager, basic networking structure for a local area network and other networks like internet. Security manager, a smart operating system, also provides a minimal security to the computer system through authorization and authentications. Authorization is your username and authentication is your password. What is exactly the user interface? We have told here one of the major function. It is the medium by which a user interact with any software. This interface may by text based or graphical based, or it may be touch screen also. Based on this user interface, we can categorize as CUI, that is character user interface, and GUI, that is graphical user interface. What is character user interface? This type of interface requires user to type each instruction on its prompt to send request to the computer. User must remember each command with proper syntax to perform its operation. It is not very easy and user friendly. Example of this type of interface was disk operating system called as a DOS, and it is still available with Windows as a CMD, command prompt it is called. CMD stands for command, where we can type the DOS commands. Now you can see this is what your CUI, character user interface. Okay, it is very not user friendly what it is told. In case of GUI, that is graphical user interface, it is more user friendly interface than CUI, which uses images, icons to represent the options and commands. Various GUI components are used like labels, text box, buttons, checkbox, radio buttons, list box, combo box, password field, menus, dialog box, etc. GUI interface is event drive, that is user must perform event like clicking, double clicking, dragging, triggering, etc. Nowadays every operating system or application software are GUI based. This is what the example of a graphical user. This is what nowadays you are working. So whenever you are creating an account, some label appears here, then for text box it will give the boxes here and drop down list. So the suppose if you press here while giving a birthday, right, for a password also box you can see here, then this is called as the radio button, okay, and your normal button to submit or signing up, right. This is what called as a graphical user interface, right. Now sometimes the touch sensitive screen interface, this you are already while operating mobile system you are using it, or in ATM you are using it. A touch screen is a computer or a mobile display screen that allows user to interact with the applications by directly touching it by hand or by stylus. Stylus means it is like a pen, okay, pen tablet it is called. The screens are sensitive to pressure. A user interacts with the computer by touching pictures or words on the screen. Now another BIOS I told, basic input output system. The basic input output system is also commonly known as the BIOS. What is it? It is a boot firmware. What is a firmware? Implementing a software on a hardware is called as a firmware. Means some programs are written on a hardware, a small program that controls various electronic devices attached to the main computer system. It is designed to the first set of instructions run by the computer when powered on. The initial function of the BIOS is to initialize system devices such as RAM, hard disk, CD drive or DVD drive, video display card and other hardware. So when you switch on your computer, the first program that is executed is BIOS. Means basically it checks whether system is up to date or not, whether all the devices connected properly or not. Otherwise your BIOS will give the error saying that keyboard is not connected, monitor is not connected. Getting the idea? So since it is, this software is also useful for booting the computer system. Booting means your starting up of a computer is called as a booting a system. It is also comes under the category of system software. Then what is your CMOS? Okay, you might have seen a battery here. how we can see the mobile battery. Similarly, this is called as a complementary metal oxide semiconductor. It is called. It is an onboard, means it is within the motherboard battery powered semiconductor chip inside the computer that stores what information it is storing: system time, system date, system hardware settings, etc. on your computer. CMOS battery is generally used to give backup support to BIOS program. Okay, that is how, even though your computer is switched off, your battery will be, your clock will be on, as and when you switch on your computer, it will show the system date and time properly. Then device drivers. What is this? A system software that acts like an interface between the device and the user or the operating system. All computer accessories like printer, scanner, camera, etc. come with their own driver software. These driver software help the operating system and other application software to communicate with those devices for optimal use. So a software, suppose if I bring a new one scanner and connect to the computer, it will not work. It requires a driver software, means it will make that the scanner will also become the family member of that computer system with the help of that software. That is why it acts like an interface between the device and the user to the operating system. An additional kind of software, if any external device, if you are connecting, then it comes with a software that is called as a device drivers, right? That is also part of. Then comes your what? Language processor. It is also system software only, right? It is also system software only. It is a special software which translates source code to object code or a machine code. What is source code? Is a group of instructions written by programmer using some computer programming language. What is object code? Code are those instructions which are received by the translating source code into a machine code. If your program is available in the machine code, it is object code. It is available in any high level programming languages, then it is a source code. Okay, both are used to develop the software. Assemblers, interpreters and compilers are the types of language. A popular word for language processor is a translators. They translate from one language to another language, from high level language to low level language. Okay, the Python, if you are studying now, the Python language is a high level language. Okay, Python, C, C++, these languages will not be understood by the computer. That will be converted into a machine code. That is what we call it as a object code. You can see here the compiler is an example of a translator as a language processor. Source code is written in your high level languages such as your English like language. Okay, whereas the source code is in series of zeros and ones, which is in executable form. As discussed, computer understand only binary language, so it is very difficult for the programmer to write the entire program as a bunch of zeros and ones. So need arises to have a language which is easy to write, learn and understand. The solution was high level languages which used to simple English like statements to write the application. Examples of language processors are compilers, interpreter and assemblers. What is a compiler now? Compilers are used to convert high level language program to machine language. It converts the entire program in machine language in one go. If it encounters errors, it reports all the errors along with the line numbers. It converts HLL, means high level language code, in machine code if all the errors are removed. Once converted, we can directly execute the program without interacting with the compiler. In other words, what is the interpreter now? It is also used for converting high level language into machine language. It translates the high level language code line by line as well as execute at the same time. If any error occurs, it stops the execution and report the error. Unless and until if you don't correct the error at that line, it will not go for next line. Separately, if you have a separate, what you can say, if you compare, now you just see, very good comparison is given here. One, it reads the whole program and it reads the program line by line. It translates the entire program in one go, whereas it translates only one line at a time and execute there itself. It produces machine code which is directly understood by a compiler. It produces an intermediate code after translation. Okay, and fourth one, it takes large amount of time to analyze the source code. It takes less amount of time to analyze the source code. Compilers are faster, interpreters are slower. Compilers it requires more memory space and interpreter requires less memory space. Okay, compilers are good for professionals and interpreters are good for beginners. Examples of compilers are C language, C++, Java, etc. And examples of interpreters are the basic language. Basic is a very beginners all-purpose symbolic instruction code, it is called. It is very beginning language. It was there when computers are introduced at the beginning, when high level languages in the first generation were written. Then now the Python is an interpreter, remember, right? Next comes the application softwares. These are the software designed for some specific tasks. These are not used for the system, it is used for the user. Okay, these are to be installed after installation of operating system only. Okay, operating system provides environment to run an application software. These are designed for a specific purpose. Okay, further categories of these application softwares like packages, example MS Office, the utilities like text editor, paint, brush, disk defragmentation, etc. The customized softwares like a Tally or any business software, and developer tool like software libraries, right? Application software runs on OS. It uses the services of OS to interact with the hardware. Set of software to carry out specific tasks like creating documents, calculations and analysis, presentations. Okay, and application softwares like railway reservation system, library management, etc. These four categories I have already explained you. Now in that, what is the utility? The first category, utility software. Utility software helps maintain or configure a computer. Many of these are installed at the same time as the operating system, but they can also be added afterwards. Examples of utility programs you can see: disk fragmentation, it comes with operating system only. Then software updates, software cleaning up, encryption and description, and etc. Right? Further now, once again, for efficient working of our computer and other tasks, various utility softwares: text editor for storing short notes, messages, coding, notepad, wordpad, etc. To do any task, to manage any work. Compression, you might have seen with the WinZip and all. Okay, more number of RAR is also there, WinRAR and WinZip. Disk fragmentation means what? Utility software speed up the system by rearranging such fragmented files stored on a disk in contiguous location in order to optimize the system performance. Antivirus, to protect our computer from threats like virus, worms, Trojan horse, frauds, etc. Now some general purpose softwares that comes under application softwares. They are common software used by everyone in the world. Okay, example, word processing, you know that, MS Word. Spreadsheet, you know that, MS Excel. And of course the PowerPoint, that is presentation purpose. And the database, to store huge amount of data and also to perform queries like Oracle, MySQL. That MySQL we study in class 12th, right? Customized software, these are the tailor-made software. It is created as per the need of the customer for their specific requirement, like for maintaining a school operation or a restaurant management or a banking or a hotel or a hospital. Okay, that is what called as a customized softwares. Apart from this, there will be developer tools. When a programmer starts the process of writing a program to develop a software for any type of application, he or she requires a series of software developing tools like code editor, debugger, and compiler. A platform where all these software developing tools are bundled into a package is known as IDE, Integrated Development Environment. This will more discuss when we study about the Python IDLE. Okay, that is Integrated Development Learning Environment is also it is called. So popular development tools are NetBeans, Eclipse, IDLE, as I told you, Visual Studio. Each IDE or IDLE provides features of editing, compilation, debugging, means correcting the errors, automation tools, output windows, and etc. That's all about the this further the system overview. We have discussed every point now today. Okay, and I would like to stop at this point of time now, and I would like to continue my next class. Till then, bye bye.